Hello and welcome to another Y-PAC Check-ins. I'm your host, Sean Davido, and today I'm joined by Dave Brown, the Assistant Director of Public Works for the City of Yakima. Thanks for joining me today, Dave. Now, last time we visited, we talked about the Nelson Dam plan, and that has changed a little bit. As people can see behind me, that project is well underway. Where are we at in that process now? Where are we at this point?
Well, you can see in the picture behind Sean, the river has now been divided. They're going on both sides of the river. The one side with the bridge in the background, that's the bypass channel. That will be the main bypass of the river. And then the bypass that's going to the other side of Sean is feeding water to the irrigation system right now. The white bags you see in the background, those are big super sacks, giant sandbags. They're several tons each. And that's building a cofferdam to dry that center section of the river up so we can start removing the dam. Then the next thing that will happen is right at the very top of the picture, there'll be some metal pilings that's called sheet pile. They're a corrugated type metal that'll be driven into the ground, and that's to further stop the water and to dry it all up. What we've done here since this picture was taken, we've done fish salvage in that section of the river above the dam, and now we're getting ready to do a fish salvage that's just below the dam. So we've removed all the fish that are involved in this and ready to remove the dam. We are having a little trouble with the sheet pile and driving it in. The ground under the river is harder than what we expected, so it's not driving as easy as we thought.
Now, has that caused any delays? You're pretty close to the schedule and timeline that you had put out earlier this year.
Yeah,
How are things going?
We're a week or so behind the schedule, getting that piles driven. They spent a little time trying to figure that out, which has delayed some of the fish salvage to really get started on the project. Getting the piles driven where they belong will help dewater that section. Right now below the dam, the water is just too deep to do fish salvage in, and they can't pump enough of that water out of there. So we need to stop the water from the head end.
Right. Now, we've talked about this before. This is a collaborative effort. This isn't just a City of Yakima project. This feeds many of the City of Yakima's irrigation customers, but it's an effort among many agencies. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's mainly the design and everything has been between the City of Yakima and Yakima County Flood Control Zone District. And the Flood Control Zone District is interested in is because we can reduce flood potential here. But along with this collaboration between the Flood Control Zone District and us, Yakima Nation, the Fish and Wildlife, NOAA Fisheries, PS Fish and Wildlife, they're all interested in getting rid of the dam and increasing fish passage in this area. In fact, Yakima Nation, US Fish and Wildlife, and Washington Fish and Wildlife are doing the fish salvage in this project at no cost to the project. They're that interested in making sure this project happens.
Wonderful. Now, this is a good segue into reminding people of those benefits. What taking out and replacing this dam with a different type of structure is a pretty huge benefit to the residents, not just flooding, but other things also, right?
Well, we'll still get our water that we've always gotten for irrigation purposes at this dam, but it'll allow us to consolidate 4 diversions into one. That way, downstream we'll be able to build a park. There'll be river access, and then by getting rid of the dam, we remove a danger spot in the river. We'll have boat traffic going back and forth. It'll increase fishing. It'll open up 300 miles of river to fish habitat. So it'll increase the fisheries in this area. So it's a lot of benefit to recreation, boat traffic. It'll look better instead of an ugly dam and a fish ladder there. It'll just look like river. It's called a roughened channel, and it's meant to look just like the river.
And this, again, just remind people, the Nelson Dam is an irrigation diversion, right? It diverts the irrigation water for the city of Yakima.
It diverts irrigation water for about 3,800 customers on the east side of Yakima, basically from 16th Avenue East.
Okay.
And then this dam also has a little bit extra water involved in it. So it's a backup. We could put a water plant in this area and feed some of the excess water for domestic water purposes. So it does have a further use here.
Wonderful. Now we're ending the irrigation season and it's coming to an end. Will this affect water flow in the spring? Should people expect any challenges in the spring, or will this be completed by then?
No, what will happen here is on the 15th of October, that's when our water right runs out in the river and we'll shut the irrigation water off. And then that channel of water you see behind, between the road and the white bags behind Sean will be shut off. So then that whole side of the river will be shut off to water flow. They'll be able to remove all the dam, put in a new screen and new fishway. And then in the spring, all of that will be in place and we'll have our water available to our customers. If something should go wrong, we have built into the project that the contractor has to install a pump and pump all the water we need. So an incentive to him is to not delay the project, to get all that infrastructure in place so they don't have to pay a whole year's pumping costs.
Wonderful. Now, is there anything else? Let's talk about other projects maybe in the city. This is the big one. This is what you've been working on for quite a long time. Is there anything else going on in the water and irrigation world out there that we should know about?
Well, there's some water main replacement projects that are going on, getting rid of the old infrastructure that in Yakima was put together over 100 years ago. Some of that water main is over 100 years old and it's long past its useful life. So we're replacing a water main in East Viola. And while we're doing that, we're replacing a 6-inch water main with a 12-inch water main, which will increase fire flow in that whole area, which it needs. We're doing a main replacement on Meade and South First Street, again, replacing a smaller main with a larger main. And then over at 41st and Avalanche, we're adding a 12-inch water main in there to increase fire flow in that area. That's an area where there's a lot of multifamily residents. And when it was built, fire flow was not as important as it is today. So it's a little lacking in fire flow, and this will make a big difference over there. And then we're replacing the water main in North First, along with the North First Street revitalization. There's a small main on either side of the road. There's 2 mains. We're replacing it with one larger 6-inch main, which will get us better water quality and better fire flow in that area. And plus, we're replacing old mains. We don't want an old main under brand new street, brand new water main, brand new street.
Now, how old, just for an idea, how old are some of those old mains that you're replacing?
Well, a lot of them in that central area of Yakima, that's the part of town that was built first. Some of that is over 100 years old. So it's time for them to be replaced.
And those are literally wood pipes. Some of those are actually wood pipes.
All of the wood pipes were in the irrigation system, and that was all replaced over the years. We replaced some 32 miles of water main, irrigation water mains, wood mains with plastic or high density polyethylene. Then in the drinking water system, the last water main went out in the 80s. The last wood water main went out in the 1980s. That was down on Meade, and that was just a short little 1-block section. We replaced that a long time ago. But these mains that we're replacing are called cast iron. They're not lined, so there's water quality problems, and they're a little thinner, very brittle. So any sort of movement causes them to break. And we're replacing them with something called ductile iron, which has a slight bit of flexibility to it, and it's cement lined, so we protect the water from the pipe.
Wonderful. So better systems, better, more efficient, and obviously, well, conservation is a reason for all that, right?
Well, especially in the irrigation system, we were diverting at the Nelson Dam. We were diverting 23 CFS Now we're diverting about 8 or 9. So we really drastically reduced the leaks there. In the drinking water system, we've made some repairs to one of our reservoirs, and we're constantly looking for leaks to try to make sure we're not losing water and having to treat that and pay for it and lose that water. So yes, that is conservation.
Wonderful. Well, protecting one of our main resources, if not the most important resource we have out there, our water system. I want to thank you very much for being the steward of that, Dave, and for getting us through our water season.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
Sean.
Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again very soon. And thank you all for joining us.
All right. Bye.